Hey guys, Delora Dabbles here. I figured that I would show you guys the Cassandra again and do a proper review of it. My earlier videos were more of a first impression. I was very excited. The videos are very long. Anyway, now that I've had it for about a year now, I know a lot more about it, and I can tell you guys how I have enjoyed it this past year. This wheel really does do practically everything. The orifice is quite large, and even though I don't do a lot of art yarn, if I do want to make a really bulky yarn, I have the option to without having to buy extra accessories like a lot of your manufactured wheels do. I do predominantly spin very thin yarn, and this can do very thin yarn, very bulky yarn, without having to attach new things or completely exchange out the whirls, because the whirl range on this wheel is so varied. Now, I typically spin, let me look on this, 45 WPI singles. That's pretty much as thin as I go on this wheel. Anything thinner, and I just can't spin as quickly. So, and also, Fred, don't you dare jump down. Hold on, my cat. Okay. Anything thinner, and it's just, I'd rather use a spindle, because once you get to a certain thinness of yarn, spindles are actually just as efficient as wheels, which is a very funny thing. Now, the bigger your yarn is, the quicker you're going to spin it on a spinning wheel. So I still use my drop spindles quite a bit, even though I have this amazing spinning wheel. So let me just, I spin barefoot. Let me just give this thing some spins for you. So I'm not actually pulling the yarn out, I just kind of, it has a nice little metronome. It's not that loud, right? But I also have two different sizes of drive bands. If I were to use the same drive band for all the different sizes of the whirls, because the whirl sizes are so varied, I would get this knock here. So let me show you guys what I mean. So there, now the drive band is way too tight across the whirl, so let's give it a go. It rattles quite a bit more, because you really don't want your drive band to be too tight on this. So I do suggest that you have two different drive bands for this. You have a drive band for your smaller whirls and then a drive band for your larger ones. Now the interesting thing about this wheel is that unlike manufactured wheels, this is going to be the whirl that gives you the largest whirl here is going to be what you spin your very, very thin yarn on, and the smaller whirl is what you spin your very, very big yarn on, to put it in simple terms like that. So I do actually have two different drive bands for this. Right now, I'm actually Navajo plying on this wheel, and I have to say that I've only ever Navajo plied on a spindle until this project. It's been over a year, and I never Navajo plied a yarn on this yet. I will say that you want to use the smallest whirl on any wheel so that you just have more time to do the chains that you need to do for this ply. But other than that, it still plies everything beautifully. And the other important thing that you need to know about the Cassandra is how to set up the tensioning versus clockwise and counterclockwise spinning. So right now, I am spinning counterclockwise. So I'm spinning S-twists right now because I'm plying. And so my tension looks a little different. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. So this is what your tension is going to look like. You're going to bring it from here all the way down, up around the back of the bobbin, and then back down to this knob. And that's how you're going to do whenever you spin S-twist counterclockwise this way. You're also going to put your yarn through this side of the hooks. Now, if you were spinning this clockwise, you would take this off. Well, it's a process. It's a process. I apologize if the camera's shaky. I'm having to hold it. And then you would tighten it as needed, but it's going to look like this. You're just going to have it through that knob up and over this way, and now you're going to spin clockwise, and your yarn is going to be on this side of the hooks. The only alteration I have made to this wheel is by putting smaller hooks here and between the larger hooks that came with it. So as you can see, I've got these 3 smaller hooks. Those are added on because I spin a lot of lace. And this way I can spin lace and still fill my bobbin up quite nicely. So spinning a lot of lace on this wheel as I have, I will say that anytime the wheel starts to knock funny or rattle in a strange way or just give me any kind of trouble at all, I finish my project out, however long that takes, and then I immediately take it apart. I oil it and put it back together the next day, and it all works fine again. Damn it, Fred. This is my troublemaker. Now, the furniture polish that I use is Milsec. Let me put it up closer so you can actually see it. This is the polish that I use for my wheel every time, and it smells really lemony and everything, so like my whole house smells really nice after I oil my wheel up. Now, whenever I oil my wheel for spinning, I don't actually use spinning wheel oils on this. After talking, gosh, I can't believe I forgot his name. Anyway, after talking to him specifically about this wheel and how to oil it, Vaseline works best. So, and typically where I oil it is just back here between the bobbin. Turn it. I oil it mainly just between the bobbin and the wood. Here. That's pretty much the only place that I have to oil this consistently. And the other place that I oil it is down here at the footman, where the footmen rotate against this metal here. And it works absolutely fine. With very minimal knocking. Every now and then I'll get a squeak from where the footmen are attached to the rod down here. And again, I use Vaseline. I don't use any of that oil. Whenever I did use the oil actually stained my footman a darker color right there where I would put it. And it didn't really do the job very well for very long. And that's why, you know, I called him to talk to him and everything. And he's just, Vaseline. Vaseline works best. I will say that my cats really enjoy walking across the footman and making the wheel spin whenever they walk across it. It's become a bit of a pastime for them, so a lot of times just to keep my cats off the wheel, I just lay a blanket over it. So if you have terrible cats like mine, that's what you'll need to do. I do hope that you guys liked this review. Anyway, if you have any questions for me, you can put them in the comment section down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. And until next time, happy dabbling, and bye-bye.